When life seems dandy, we often forget to think about what made it that way. To keep our rights, we must first know our rights. Hi, I'm Karen, the host of Thriving Talk. Today, in my Know Your Charter series, part 2, we're reviewing our democratic rights in section 3, 4, and 5. Before we get started, I want to just share a little disclaimer that I am not a constitutional expert. I am merely a citizen who values my rights and your rights as citizens of this great country of Canada. So let's get started. Section 3 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms says every citizen of Canada has the right to vote in an election of members of the House of Commons or of a legislative assembly and to be qualified for membership therein. So what this is saying is that all Canadian citizens have the right to be involved in elections of our governments, in federal, provincial, and municipal. It also gives them the right to vote. This section also lets us know that we have the right to stand for public office ourselves. So you can run and you can be premier, you could be an MLA, you could be a member of parliament, you could run in all levels, you can be mayor, you can do this. You have the right to do these things. The only limitations are reasonable limitations, such as age, of being 18 years of age or older, being a Canadian citizen, but you have that right. Section 4 talks about the maximum duration of legislative bodies. So 4.1 says no House of Commons and no legislative assembly shall continue for longer than 5 years from the date fixed for the return of the writs, which are court documents, at a general election of its members. So this section of the Charter states that it is a basic principle in a democracy that a government must consult the voters and stand for re-election at regular intervals. Now we're going to go to section 4.2. That says, in time of real or apprehended war, invasion, or insurrection, a House of Commons may be continued by Parliament, and a legislative assembly may be continued by the legislature beyond 5 years if such continuation is not opposed by the votes of more than 1/3 of the members of the House of Commons or the Legislative Assembly, as the case may be. So only under extraordinary circumstances, such as war or national emergency, may a government stay in office for a longer period of time. So let's go to section 5. This has to do with an annual sitting of the legislative bodies. So it says, there shall be a sitting of Parliament and of each legislature at least once every 12 months. So this is another democratic principle that a government must explain its actions to the people. Parliament and the legislature assemblies must hold a session at least once a year. This guarantees that elected members and the public have a chance to question government actions on a regular basis. So these are the sections of part 2 of Know Your Charter. Let me know how you think Canada is doing on these 3 sections. And now it's time for a quote. Patriotism is not obedience to government. Patriotism is obedience to the principles for which government is supposed to stand. Words for thought. We have experienced living in a time with a lot of peace, a lot of happiness, a lot of freedom. But in order to keep our rights, we need to know our rights. So often when things are not going well, that is the time that people pull up their sleeves, dig into their books, figure out what's going wrong and try to address it. I encourage all of us to know our Charter of Rights and Freedoms sooner than later so that we can keep our country great. If you've enjoyed this brief review of Section 3, 4, and 5 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, be sure to subscribe, like, and share this video with others. Let's all have a thriving life, a thriving country, and thrive together. Thanks for watching. Till next time, bye.